Wataru Saju is a normal high school student and the biggest simp. He likes Aika Natsukawa, a cute girl in his class. Every day Wataru follows Aika like a dog, hitting on her and trying to go out with her. Even though Wataru gets rejected every time, he's still persistent. Well, that all changed on this day when he almost gets hit by a flying football and Aika asks him to stop stalking her, but this time Wataru actually listens and decides to stop stalking Aika for good. In the classroom, Aika and her friend Kei are shocked to find Wataru minding his own business other than flaunting over Aika as usual. Everyone is shocked at Wataru's new behavior. Even the teacher notices it. At break, Wataru gets up and walks through the halls when suddenly Aika shouts at Wataru, telling him to stop following him, but Wataru tells her he just wanted to use the restroom. Everyone is shocked at Wataru's new behavior. In the restroom, Wataru's friends confront him about it, but Wataru quickly dismisses it. At lunch, Wataru gets up to go to the cafeteria, but is stopped by Aika. Aika is shocked to find that Wataru is going to eat lunch alone, instead of begging Aika to eat lunch with him as usual. While eating his lunch alone, a cute girl talks to Wataru. She introduces herself as Rina Aizawa from the class next door. The next day at school, Wataru finds out that Aika is being cold towards him as well. After PE class, Kei confronts him about Rina. She also tells him that Rina has a boyfriend who is a second year. Wataru goes to see Rina's boyfriend and finds him talking about how he likes Aika Natsukawa. Wataru finds out that they had broken up recently. In the classroom, while Aika, Kei and Wataru are having a conversation, Rina shows up and Kei started to badmouth Rina's ex-boyfriend. Rina runs off in anger as Wataru follows her. Wataru apologizes to Rina. The next day we find out that Rina had gotten back with her ex-boyfriend. That day after school, Wataru is shocked to find Aika standing outside his house. He invites her to come inside. Aika asks Wataru if something happened because he doesn't chase after Aika like he used to, and then out of nowhere, Wataru asks Aika out. Aika is shocked by the sudden confession. While Wataru's sister, who just came home, is eavesdropping. Wataru's sister walks in like nothing happened, and Wataru walks Aika home. At school, Wataru realizes that years of him hanging out with Aika has led to her not making any friends. Wataru realizes that the only friends Aika has are him and Kei. Wataru decides to distance himself even more so Aika can make more friends. Wataru is approached by Shinomiya, president of the Public Morals Committee, to thank him for a recent encounter he had with committee member Inatomi, in which he apologized for frightening her because of her fear of men. She seeks his opinion on how to lift the committee's spirits because they are frequently sad and depressed. Wataru tells her and assures her that any support she gives will be enough, as being willing to offer support is more important than the support itself. When she asks his name before leaving, he lies to her by telling his name is Yamazaki. This backfires quickly as Shinomiya meets the real Yamazaki. Wataru apologizes and Shinomiya forgives him. And Inatomi thanks him for his kindness. Wataru notices Aika making friends and spending time with them and thinks this is the best for her. Wataru's sister Kid forces him into helping with her student council paperwork. At school, everyone is talking about going to Aika's house to see her little sister and eat cake. Kei tells Wataru to tag along, but Aika tells Wataru that he isn't invited. Aika feels bad for saying that, and as she goes to actually invite Wataru, Shinomiya senpai accidentally interrupts. Shinomiya and Wataru both discuss the matter of Inatomi's attempt to conquer her phobia of men, and she discovers that Wataru is an expert in reading people. At school, Kei is scrolling through looking at the pictures they took at Aika's house. She finds Aika looking sad in one of the pictures. Kei asks Wataru why he hasn't spoken to Aika today. And Wataru reminds Kei that he is distancing himself from Aika. And to him to keep it this way is the best for Aika. After soccer practice, Wataru chats with his classmate Sasaki, where Wataru mentions he hasn't seen his big sister Kid since the weekend. In the classroom, Yamazaki forces Wataru to talk with other female classmates, including the bad-mouthed Toga. Aika gets jealous and pulls Wataru away and into an empty classroom and yells at him. Admitting she's jealous, Aika runs away embarrassed. Back in class, Kei and Wataru are talking when student council member Hanawa Renji shows up to have a word with Wataru. In the student council room, Renji asks Wataru how he feels about himself. And asks him why he stopped running after Aika all of a sudden. Renji reveals that Wataru's sister Kid thinks she is the cause of Wataru's sudden change. And thinks that she might have destroyed her little brother's springtime of his life. Because she always teases and torments Wataru and lowers his self-esteem. Wataru assures Kid his change was his choice, so there is no need to worry or change how she treats him, as he is used to her petty insults, and finds it strange she would suddenly show concern for him. Then eavesdropping Aika busts through the doors, threatening Wataru to apologize to her sister for speaking so cruelly to her. And she accidentally reveals that she followed Wataru all this time and runs out confused by her own feelings. Kid returns to normal and beats up Wataru as usual. Aika continues to be confused over missing Wataru. Kei thinks that perhaps it's time for Aika to pursue Wataru since he's been after her all this time. Before leaving for school, Wataru's sister suggests Wataru gets his hair dyed again since it's grown back a little. She also tells Wataru that he used to be more worried about it. Wataru reflects back the times he spent trying to become a man who was suitable for Aika. But now he feels he doesn't need to be concerned about it anymore. Wataru encounters the morals committee again. He meets Inatomi's childhood friend Aya, who angrily mistrusts men, especially around Inatomi. Wataru notices Inatomi's confidence and Shinomiya thanks Wataru for helping Inatomi overcome her fear of men. Wataru's classmate Sasaki reveals to Wataru that he also has a crush on Aika Natsukawa and hopes to ask her out. Wataru decides to not think much of it but has mixed feelings. Wataru sees Aika and Kei walking home with Sasaki after school. But since Aika forgot something in class, she comes back to pick it up. Aika asks Wataru to sit with her during lunch. When she finds out Wataru sat with Shinomiya senpai during lunch, she gets jealous. Aika also tells Wataru to dye his hair. He stops by the drugstore to buy dye for his hair on his way home. And his sister Kid helps him to dye his hair. Wataru does bad in the school exam. He realizes keeping up with Aika was the only thing that motivated him to study. He regains his motivation when he finds out Sasaki placed higher than him. Walking through school halls, Wataru notices some girls bad-mouthing Aika. Wataru asks the girls what they want from Aika. One girl gets jump-scared by Wataru and starts to scream. Wataru makes fun of the girl imitating her scream. She gets mad and runs off with her friends. The next day it's raining heavily. As Wataru and Aika are both walking to school, they bump into each other. As a moving truck almost splashes water all over Aika, Wataru jumps in and gets wet instead. As Wataru was resting, he accidentally falls asleep out of exhaustion. He wakes up as the teacher is in the middle of the lesson. He asks the teacher to go to the school nurse. And as he tries to exit the classroom, he suddenly collapses. Wataru sees a flashback from his past of him tripping and falling, and as everyone stares at him, Aika steps forward to help him. Wataru wakes up in the nurse's office and finds out he collapsed due to high fever. The nurse advises Wataru to rest a little bit longer. Meanwhile in class, Shinomiya comes to visit Wataru and finds out he had collapsed. After school, Kei and Aika comes to visit Wataru, where he apologizes for causing trouble. As Aika and Kei are walking out, they meet Shinomiya and Wataru's sister Kid. And they all go and visit Wataru. The next day Wataru is absent in class. After school, Kai and Aika visit Wataru at his house. Wataru comes to school the next day. And as he's talking to the blonde girl he made fun of the other day, Aika shows up and the blonde girl goes up to Aika and introduces herself as Claudine Marika. She reveals to Aika that she wants to use Aika to win the student council election. Because Aika stands out among the other girls. In other words, Claudine wants Aika to be her poster girl. But Wataru explains that's not going to work since Aika is way cuter than Claudine and she stands out too much. Claudine gets mad at Wataru's comment. And right as Claudine was about to start a fight with Aika, everyone gathers around. And that causes Claudine to run away with her goons. While Aika is still blushing to Wataru's comment. She runs away after Wataru calls her cute again. Here's more to the story, but unfortunately this is where the video ends. This is a new anime, so the episodes are still coming out. If you enjoyed the video, a sub would be highly appreciated since this is my first video. Thank you for watching.